I'm beyond hyped because today on our quest to predict all of the massive revelations that are going to be made on Steven Universe Last of Us Stars, we're going to be talking about our girl Lapis.
I thought everything was going really well.
We're going to be talking about the big cheater puff herself, Jasper.
Jasper.
And we're going to be exposing one of the biggest cover-ups in Steven Universe history.
Another one.
Being the fact that Lapis and Jasper were both directly linked to two of the most powerful and influential characters in the universe. Characters who would unfortunately never get the chance to appear in person because of the show's early cancellation.
It's time for you to know where I really come from.
Alright, so Jasper, similarly to Imperfect, was made right here on the planet Earth.
Whoa. What is that thing?
But unlike our girl Imperfect, who would get confirmed to have been one of the most flawed Quartz soldiers, at least in terms of size and physical strength.
You should be twice your size. Broad-shouldered, intimidating, but you simply stayed in the ground too long.
Jasper would get called out as being the perfect Quartz soldier by multiple different gems on the show, like Eyeball during the season 3 episode titled Back to the Moon.
They said you popped out of the ground with your helmet on. I took out 80 crystal gems before the sun went down.
A gem who would definitely prove that she was one of the more smarter ruby soldiers out there.
I healed your gem.
And who else has the ability to heal gems other than the villainous Rose Quartz?
And more notably by the certified kindergartner herself, Peridot, only a few episodes prior to the events of Back to the Moon.
What is it?
She's even got frictional rock melt. It's glass all the way to the back. Actually, I've never seen an exit hole this perfect.
I mean, the fact that Jasper was so well known and highly praised on Homeworld really makes you wonder why Yellow Diamond would choose to send a ship filled with ruby soldiers to search for her, but I digress.
Because of what you did to my diamond!
Yellow Diamond?
The point is that Jasper would emerge from the beta kindergarten as the perfect Quartz soldier despite all of the odds being stacked against her.
I mean, this place has got the right growing conditions in a pinch, I guess.
But wait! There's more!
What a joke.
Man, I had no idea.
I tell you, it really makes you appreciate the prime kindergarten amethyst.
Like seriously, based on everything that we'd learned about Jasper's practically impossible immersion in the middle of the gem war during the season 3 episode titled Earthlings.
Planet ruins everything. Well, except for me.
I'm not even messing around when I say this, but Jasper's immersion in the beta kindergarten was so unfeasible that it honestly just sounds like the woman must have been chosen by some kind of mystical gem goddess or something.
Barb yells at me if I don't get signatures.
That's awful. Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl are back!
We'd get introduced to the concept of a moon goddess inside of the lunar sea spire during the season 1 episode titled Cheeseburger Backpack.
It's not too late to save this piece of history.
Steven, the statue.
I forgot I still had this.
The moon goddess was depicted as being this calm and collected entity, which makes complete sense because according to Bismuth, the gem spires were specifically constructed for philosophers and thinkers to be able to, well, come up with philosophies and think.
I came to Earth thinking this was just another colony. Build another arena for important fighters to fight in. Build another spire for important thinkers to think in.
One of the more interesting aspects of the lunar sea spire is the fact that there were seemingly a ton of statues based on cross-gem fusion standing around in there. And as you'd expect, this would eventually lead fans to come up with the idea that the lunar sea spire could have been built by a couple of the crystal gems along with a tribe of early humans in order for them to be able to worship Rose Quartz.
This pillar. Oh, and this had a head.
An idea that makes a ton of sense at first glance, right? I mean, the structure would not only have a noticeable amount of unidentified statues that in all likelihood were depicting cross-gem fusions, but the entire concept of a lunar sea spire being made to worship the moon goddess on the earth when it get revealed that Pink Diamond would spend a large chunk of her time on the moon makes this entire mystery seem like an open and shut case. The only incy-wincy problem is that Rose Quartz didn't have a sister.
You what?
Steven Universe Unleashed the Light, a game that was most notably written alongside Rebecca Sugar, would officially introduce us to the concept of the Sun Goddess. And I'm saying officially because we'd actually learn about the existence of this entity for the first time inside of the Steven Universe Art and Origins book through the inclusion of a place known as the Sun Spire. Keep in mind that this entire art book was lovingly put together by none other than Rebecca Sugar and the Crewniverse themselves, so it's safe to say that the vast majority of the information presented inside of it is still relevant and most importantly canon to the series. Alright, so circling back to our original discussion, Steven Universe Unleashed the Light would give us two fairly confusing pieces of evidence based on the existence of the goddesses. We'd first learn that the Sun Goddess and the Moon Goddess were sisters, even though the show would make it clear on multiple occasions that gems didn't view their own kind like that, except for that one time.
Come here, sis.
The game would go on to confuse us further by claiming that the Sun Goddess statue was a fantastic relic of ancient gem civilization. That's cool and all, but ancient for who exactly? Because Era 2 gems like Peridot go around implying that the moon base was made using primitive gem technology when it was made 3,000 years ago.
I mean, it's a relic by today's standards, but golly, it's so elegant, so simple, so perfect! This is a really old system.
Yet at the same time, the diamonds being around for far longer than Peridot would talk about events that happened 6,000 years ago like it was nothing to them at all.
When we show up in this ship, it will be irrefutable that the last 6,000 years are now the biggest galactic embarrassment that's ever happened, and we're the ones to blame.
Alright, so here's what I'm thinking is going on and how Lapis and Jasper are linked to the Moon Goddess and Sun Goddess. Check this out. Based on the season 2 episode titled It Could Have Been Great, we know that locations like the Sun Spire and the Sea Spire were definitely planned out by the diamonds themselves, meaning that we should be able to rule out the idea that these locations were constructed without Homeworld's knowledge by the crystal gems. This also confirms that these two religious figures are incredibly important to gems, especially when you consider the fact that the Lunar Sea Spire was one of the first structures to have gotten built on the Earth.
When a gem is made, it's for a reason.
Rose Quartz, also known as Pink Diamond, said that all gems were made for a reason during the season 3 episode titled Greg the Babysitter. This reads to me as the writers letting us know that all gems including the diamonds were made by entities who were even more powerful than them. And I think that it's safe for us to come to the conclusion that these entities must have been the two goddesses that even the gems at the very height of their civilization would bow down to and worship. No matter how you look at it, Lapis Lazuli and Jasper were a couple of gems who by all accounts shouldn't have existed or survived for as long as they did at all. And I'm thinking that they were able to emerge and, you know, grow to become as strong as they are because they were both chosen to be the modern day avatars of the Sun Goddess and the Moon Goddess. Chosen for what exactly? Well, I'm not sure, but what I do know is that there was originally going to be an entire gem religion arc on the show that had to get cut entirely due to the cancellation. And I'm hoping and praying that the writers will finally be able to tackle this devastatingly underdeveloped aspect of gem society.